All right. We back.
Don't get that comfortable.
You gotta do this though. You gotta do that. You gotta do this. We back.
That's why I didn't slap the chair. I don't know where this chair's been. I'm just not slapping it. No, but we're getting into some good details, and we're getting into some good information, which I think is one of the main points of both of these prospective shows. Is information to people. We talk about we're discussing what kind of unity it would take for us to get a leg up, which I see you're very big on, which you guys are very big on. There's downfalls to trying to unify. All skin ain't kin. You dig what I mean? There's people in there who are not about that life, who literally just want the sexy jobs, and the second they get a little bit of something in their hand, they're gonna break out and fuck up the batch for everybody else. What's the process like weeding people out? People come to you for information all the time. I know somebody has stepped to you, and as soon as he opened his mouth, you smelled he ain't it. Like he's going to take what I give him and do some bullshit with it.
I think both of us, like, we're really observant people, and you can kind of, if you watch somebody and you watch their characteristics, their mannerisms, you can kind of get a good vibe. People that's like overly salesy, overly pushy, hustler type of vibe, like, that kind of gives me a certain level of anxiety, me personally.
You guys don't consider yourselves hustlers?
Well, there's a difference between being a hustler and just overly, trying to do it. Like a hustler, because we just get to it every single day.
Right.
But I'm
salesman.
not like, I can do this for you. I got this opportunity right here. Just give me the play. Like, no,
bro.
Right. Talking mad fast.
I grew up with something. Oh yeah, I was over there with Let me tell you what y'all need. Let me tell you what y'all need.
You know what's funny though? I hate the word hustler.
Why?
I just hate it.
Why?
I just don't like the connotation of it. I don't like when it's said to me. Because if I feel you're a hustler, that means you're going to hustle me and do whatever the freak you going to want to do just because, for the cash or for the bag or for however you want to say it.
Man, Jay.
I just want a businessman.
Man, Jay, I hear what you said.
You forgot where you came from?
What y'all You niggas hustle the shit out of the gap. Y'all hustle the shit out of the
I just
gap.
hate that word, man. Because I'm saying, like, we could do better, bro. I just want a better word. That's what I feel.
I mean, as far as the appeal to the younger generation, they hear hustler, they hear somebody that's getting to it. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's their definition. Somebody who's figured out a way to get up out of their situation by being smart.
Yeah, it's like a scrambler. Like, you just scrambling. Like, you get into it. I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's about how you do it. Like, you know what I mean? But I feel like if you're doing it by being dishonest, if you're doing it by being sneaky, and you know what I'm saying, like, those are characteristics that if you could sneak one person, you could sneak me. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I always look at it. Like, you can't just say, okay, like, I'm gonna get over on this person, but I'm gonna do good business. I'm gonna do good business with you.
Right.
I'm a yeah, I think it's the grind though, right? Like, it's more of the grind than it is the hustle.
Ambition.
Right? Yeah, like, people have to have drive, like you said. They have to have that ambition, and we can see that. Right, like, when somebody comes with the, hey, here's a proposition, let me do this for you. It's like, all right, well, what's the real value? What have you done for yourself first? What have you done for yourself? Like, how that's going to tell us a lot about if you can add value to our situation. Because everybody that we have around us, they have to add value, or they're not going to be around.
Totally agree.
There's no point.
How important is your circle? What do you guys circle?
It's everything.
Like,
for us, as people that we know personally, for the most part. I mean, now it's changing, but mostly everybody that is employed by our company is people that we either grew up with or we're related to.
Same shit. Same shit.
That's official.
So,
same shit over here.
You got a lot of business owners that say they ain't gonna mess with their family or friends.
Because the popular saying is family will do it to you first.
Yeah, but it's just you got fucked up family. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Basically.
No family standards.
It's not to say that you employ every single person in your family.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Some people, they might be your family, but that's not the person that is good to be an employee. But some people are your family and they are good. So I always look at it like, if I'm gonna trust somebody, I'm gonna trust my family before I trust anybody else. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my sister, she's my assistant. like I know her my whole life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I trust her. I trust her. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, why would I go out of the way when I can stimulate her economy? She can help me, and now we all helping each other. We're related, so I'm gonna see her. I'm gonna speak to her all the time anyway. So if I'm gonna have to have somebody where I'm gonna rely on, somebody that I'm gonna trust, and somebody that's gonna get compensated, I'd rather it be somebody that I know personally, that's a family.
But we can't front that it's hard to discipline your friend or your family. I'm not saying discipline like discipline, but you know what I'm saying? Yo, you fucked up.
It goes back.
It's not hard, right? Because like, and we've had to deal with this. It's like conversations have to be had, and if they're uncomfortable, they're gonna be uncomfortable. But they have to be had, right? You don't want to put somebody in a situation where they don't have a skill that you want them to do, because it doesn't help anybody, right? You're gonna have an expectation of them. They're not gonna meet the expectation. How long can that go on? Before it's a strain.
But will friendship have you doing things that make no sense business-wise?
Sometimes you'll have more leniency, right? We've had situations where it's like, yo, if this dude wasn't our friend, there's no way we would even give him a second chance. But we will, because we have that relationship. And there's other times where it's like, look, let's end this now, because if we don't end the business, we won't have a friendship.
You know what I'm saying? Did you end it and keep the friendship?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the thing about it is, it's like, communication is very important. We have to be careful how we speak to each other in general. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people are incarcerated or dead because they didn't properly know how to communicate. You're raising your voice, doing hand gestures, different things of that nature. And it's like, you do that more often with somebody that you're familiar with. Like, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to somebody that you're not familiar with. So it's like, how do we de-escalate a situation? How do we listen to somebody that we don't agree with? How do we say sorry? How do we accept somebody's apology?
Huge.
Like, these are all things, especially as Black men, these are all things that conflict resolution is something that's extremely important, and it's not taught to us. Young boys don't know about conflict resolution. Men don't know about conflict resolution. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, this is something that's extremely important, especially when you're working with people that you know, because it can escalate very quickly.
So let's tap in on that. Jay, we know you from rocking with 4 dudes, and y'all got 30 years. I know there's been conflicts behind the scenes, but we don't hear about them FUBU boys beefing with each other.
Because we honestly, and we got this rule, like, we started from day one, that we just keep our shit together. Like, we just keep it. We won't, go against the brand, because the brand is bigger. We fuck the brand up now. We not nobody getting any checks. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we look at the bag first.
That's a fact.
How do you squash it? Like, I know the
Well, how we to be honest, how we used to really do it was, we respect Dame as Dame. Like, okay, so it's him, then it's me, then it's Keith and Carl, kind of on the same level. You know what I'm saying? So Dame and I usually honestly do all the fighting. To be honest.
Over
like,
what?
We do all the fight. Just over anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything. Like, I remember having a fight over white, the color white.
Wait, what?
Wait, break this down. You gotta break that down.
All right, so check this out. Check this out. Hold up. I need some props.
He just told the floor to hold his beer.
Check this out. Pardon. This is not white.
Off-white.
It's off-white.
Right.
I thought it was cream.
That's off-white. Not cream yet. A little darker than cream.
yet.
Yeah.
All right.
This is white. If I ship this and I ship that, you gonna put the shit on and be like, your shipping ain't right.
It's not matching.
Right. I wouldn't wear this hat with that shirt.
Right.
Yeah.
So Dame was like, yo, it's white. What you talking about? Like, bro. Yo, I see, listen, I can't see to save my life. If I go outside, take these glasses off, I can't see shit. But I see color amazingly. So I know that's that. Like, I see color better than like half the people in the United States. Whatever. I can make colors. Like, that's what I do. But I'm telling you, bro, like, that's not white. If I ship that, yo, it's you extra, and I'm like, yo, so literally to the point everybody walked out the room, we still fighting. So in the end, now he's he's over me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's over me. Now, I come from the military, so like my superior officer. Even though we partners, he's still my superior officer. I gotta listen. So I'm like, all right, I hear you. All right, you got me today. So I go, right? Now I run the division. I run all the design. You think I ain't switch that shit?
You the superior officer in that department.
Cause they in the end, it would have been on me.
Right.
Oh, you fucked up.
Right.
Even though you told them.
Even though I told you.
Right.
That's a few valuable lessons. Governance, respect authority, but then also make executive decisions. So he respected authority, he respected the governance, but he made the executive decision.
Right.
But what happened when he found out that you switched it anyway?
He ain't know.
Yeah, he probably.
He just found out.
You ain't know it.
You ain't know it.
He just put Shark
That's
Tank
fire.
on mute. Like, wait a minute, what?
So I got a question, right? So you guys are big in finances and financial literacy. What are the top 3 things to invest in right now?
The top three
Top
things to invest
three.
in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Companies or
Oh.
like sectors, like what you want.
Just like
See, I don't know all of that.
I mean, I think
So,
I think for always it's going to be real estate is forever.
Yeah, real estate
You know what
side.
I'm saying? You're always going to need somewhere to live. Everybody lives somewhere. Like that's real estate is forever. So real estate is always going to be a good investment if you buy correctly, obviously. Stocks is something that's extremely beneficial to invest in because it's like you talk about publicly traded company. All of us have some stock on our
now.
presence right now, whether it's
Right.
Nike, whether it's iPhone, whether it's whatever, right? Like these are all publicly traded companies. So it's like these companies make the world go round. So we're consumers of these companies. So why not be an owner in these companies? And that's what stock is. Stock is buying ownership of a company. So that's something that's extremely beneficial as well. You want to give one?
A company? I mean,
Oh no, I'm just saying. Just an
No,
investment.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like it's that mindset that we were talking about, where it's like, yeah, we spend, and then we ask ourselves, what should we invest in? Well, where you spend your money?
Right.
That should be the first place, right? So if you got the Apple Watch, so you got the Tim's on. Like I seen a kid wear a North Face or a Supreme. They wearing these clothing lines. They don't realize like there's a company that owns all that. And the more you spend with that company, the more the valuation of that company goes up, right? Now you're not realizing it because you're on the consumer side of it. But once you shift mindset and like, all right, rather than me continuously spending, let me buy shares of the company. It changes the ball game, right? Because that's a long-term investment. By the time you wore those Timbs, and no disrespect to your Timbs because they're still fresh, right? They're worth nothing now, right?
Ain't worth something to me.
they depreciate once you put them on your
Once
feet.
you wore them, it's you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, once they out the box,
They've
like a car
already
coming off the
depreciated.
lot.
They-
like
you're not
driving
gonna-
a car off the lot.
It's like you got smelly feet.
Yeah. The resale value on those is not going to happen for you, right? But the chances are, right? VF Corp owns Timberland, right? If you invest in them, right, and they keep putting out the products and people keep consuming it at the same rate, chances long term, 10, 20 years, that money is going to appreciate over time. Whereas that boot, I mean, you're going to have to buy a new pair every year. You're from New York. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So is it possible to rig the game?
It's always possible to rig the game. You talking about like from a higher up situation?
All right, in a way that Jay-Z popularized
Iceberg.
Cristal,
Okay. Yeah.
and this shit went up.
Well, that's what we
Them
talk. So
motherfuckers, yeah.
so like Elon Musk, right?
Mhm.
When he was going crazy about Dogecoin, and he was going on Saturday Night Live, he going on Twitter, and every time he tweeted, Dogecoin went up. Then it went up 10 cents, went up 5 cents, went up 8 cents, and it just seemed like any time that he said anything about Dogecoin, it just went up. So a lot of people were saying that it was market manipulation because he's a very powerful, influential person with a large following, the richest person in the world. People obviously respect his opinion. So if he's championing something, then that's going to lead millions of people to put their money into it because I think that's going to like a get rich quick thing.
But it did.
It did, but then it dropped. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Significantly,
you got to be
Did he
educated.
pull out his shares before it dropped?
But that's the part you're never going to know.
You never gonna
Right,
know
'cause
that. Yeah.
Cryptocurrency,
You
there is
can't. There's no
regulation.
regulations, so you never will know what.
But the Jay's a good example.
So
right?
so all right. So,
But
so
but
wait,
I-
before you
Yeah,
move
yeah.
on from that,
Yeah.
so is it market manipulation if it's done with crypto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Market
yeah.
manipulation,
But
no matter
they
who is done.
It's not set up the way now that you can, like, if you deal with what do you call it? regular stocks.
A stock.
There's certain
stock,
words
right.
for it, whatever. You did with that. It's straight regulated.
Yeah, like
That
insider
shit
trading.
there is the
things
Wild
like
Wild West.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the wild. So it's not federally regulated. So you can do whatever you want with
But
Bitcoin.
you can't. So this is why like Kim Kardashian and a bunch of celebrities, they got sued because they endorsed, I forgot which project it was. It was a crypto project.
Yeah.
They got paid money to put a post on social media up about it, right? And then it crashed. So they got sued because they were saying that you endorsed something that wasn't a solid project. You lured millions of investors into something that had no financial ground. You didn't do your due diligence on it, and now they lost a bunch of money. So you still have to be extremely careful. And this is important because for any athlete, entertainer, any
penny stocks.
influencer, understand whatever you put your name to, you can be held liable for that. So it's a lot of people, especially not so much now, but back a couple months ago, people was paying people for NFT projects, like endorse this NFT. And people don't even know what NFT is, and they just endorsing it. Like never endorse. This goes back to the third thing. You said 3 things to invest in. The biggest thing that you should invest in is your education.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest thing that you should invest in, because now, once you have your education, honestly, that's the only thing in this world that's really going to save you in the economic downturn, because it's like the knowledge and the information can't be taken away from you. They can take your job away from you. They can take an endorsement deal away from you, but they can't take the knowledge and information away from you. So if you're educated, you always have an opportunity, even if you lose everything. You have education, you have an opportunity to get it back. This is why you see billionaires and Trump and all, they go bankrupt 3 or 4 times, but they have enough information and enough relationships to get money again. It's not a big deal. But this is why you hit the lottery, a lot of lottery winners go broke because they don't have any information. So you're giving them money with no information. Now that's easy to lose.
Right.
Yeah, the J joint is good though, right? Because that's in the crypto world. But if you take J and you brought up Cristal, like 2009, like it used to drink Cristal, motherfuckers racist.
Right.
Then we switched to gold bottles, right? So Ace of Spade becomes the bottle of choice now.
Which is his company.
It's his company, right? Now, he says that for 10 years. He's talking gold bottles, 40-40, every time you go, it's gold bottles, gold bottles, gold bottles.
Right.
What happens this year? He sells it to LVMH for $500 million.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's not manipulation. That's the power of influence. But the power of influence, that's something you own. You see what I'm saying?
So, all right, as content creators, let's just put this idea out there. As content creators, we talk to millions of people monthly. If we all had a portion of a coin or a product and we popularized it without saying that we have ownership of it, is that market manipulation?
No, that's good marketing. Like the coin, the coin is different because that's an investment. Let's say I'm a silent partner in FUBU, right? And I'm wearing FUBU every single day and I'm pushing FUBU, and nobody knows that I own any portion of FUBU. But, being that I have a platform, it might lead to a uptick in sales, right? And I'm going to benefit from that because I'm a part owner in that. That's not market manipulation because that's a product. But now investments are different because investments are regulated. So that's when you have to kind of be a little bit, more careful about. But if it's like, let's say I'm owner in this barbershop and I'm saying, come to this barbershop every day. They don't have to know I'm an owner in it. I could support and, publicly, put my, weight around a product. That's one thing. But the investment is another, because when they buy this, it's not an investment the same way as a stock. You're not going to lose all your money. You're not thinking that I'm going to triple my money next week if I buy this sweater. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not the same level of expectations.
So how does it work with the NFTs? Because Justin Bieber purchased something for like 1-something million. And today it's worth like less than $100,000.
I never.
It's just a hype around that shit.
No, the funny thing is,
good thing and
it's
the worst
a monkey
thing can
face.
happen is
It's
fractional
hilarious.
ownership. Now everybody can own
not to
something.
laugh
Now
at
everybody,
you,
you said, they'll have the mind to understand what they're actually even owning. They don't know what they're actually even doing.
Right.
That's a fact.
Like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I always say this, like,
so how was that legal?
education.
Which league?
Education is key, but getting the right education from the right educational source
What are they educating
is even
you
bigger.
Right.
Yeah, that's a fact.
My thing that bugged me out is that I came out of prison and I was like, yo, people are believing in invisible things.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
The tulip.
I came home, I was like, yo,
tulip price.
like, yo, give me 15,000 cash. They're like, nah, champ, we're gonna cash app it to you. We're gonna sell it to you. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yo, you know about non-fungible tokens? Nah, what's that? Oh, it's this digital piece of art that sells for a certain amount of money. I'm like, you want me to buy something that I can create on Canva? Or fucking
I think the ideas of NFT is something that's extremely beneficial. And the idea, like, because we are going towards a digital world.
We're here.
It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even money, like, we're not using money the same way that we used to. Most people are using either your credit card, your debit card, Zelle, Venmo, Cash
Apple
App,
Pay.
like, you know what I mean? Apple Pay.
Yep.
So it's already transitioning. The idea of an NFT being able to authenticate something, right, on the blockchain, that's something that's extremely beneficial. Because it's like, there's all, like Jordans, right? There's always these fake Jordans all over the place, right? So now if you can authenticate that those are real Jordans, because there's only one of one, and it's the most perfect way to track it on the blockchain. Now that's something that's extremely beneficial.
And it has its own digital print serial number.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
authenticated.
So it's like,
I got you.
There's benefits for it, but I think people went away from the technology and went to the hype.
Yeah. The hype sold. So anytime you see celebrities, that's always a telltale sign. Like, all right, something's up. But the utility behind the technology makes sense. They're not going away, right? There was a craze for it. There was a hype for it. And now we're seeing a crash of it, right? But the utility, the actual, what it can do, right? Like you said, authenticating, creating unique experiences, right? Right. If I have a community, right? Everybody who listens to the show had an NFT, or you created one for them, and it was a unique experience that only the people that had that NFT could come to. Now it's unique, right? It has utility behind it. Matter of fact, not only does it do it for one experience, but it does it for 5 throughout the entire year. Matter of fact, if you have another one, it creates another experience. You see what I'm saying? So the utility piece makes a lot of sense.
It was the real power behind it.
And we're gonna see it still. It's just that there was a craze, there's a pullback, and now the technology, we'll start seeing it making a lot of sense in the future.
And the commission part of it.
That's
especially
right.
for artists. So it's like,
every time it resold.
When Basquiat, I think the most he ever got paid for a painting was like $100,000, something like that. When his painting got sold for $100 million a few years ago. So his family didn't get none of that. Nobody, got anything. So it's like, imagine if he, so with the NFTs, you could put royalties on it. So it's like, let's say.
Change that too.
What, the NFT royalties?
The royalties,
That's crazy. Right now, every time you sell one, the original owner gets a
royalty, whatever you said. So it's like, let's say let's say Basquiat would have sold that painting that sold for $100 million. When he originally did it, let's say he put a 10% royalty on it. So that means when it would have sold for $100 million, his estate would have got $10 million. Right, and then because it's gonna go up, it's gonna sell for $200 million eventually. When it sells for $200 million, now his estate gets $20 million, as opposed to him making all of this great art, and
selling it once, and then
never getting paid for anything, and his family probably never received any money from what he has. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that, especially from an art standpoint, that's something that's extremely beneficial as well.
Yeah, that's how you start seeing all those pictures appreciate, like, to numbers. You're like, how does this even make sense? If they set the floor price at a certain number, then I buy it, then it becomes more rare because there's only one of them, and then it just keeps going up. And every time who created the original is getting paid every time it gets sold.
And there was that physical component.
It's like
that
selling
came
records,
with it.
man.
Some of them came with a lifetime of the show. Like if I'm a certain, there was a band that did. I can't remember which one it was. There was a band who had an NFT, and anybody who owned the NFT now had a golden ticket to go to every show that these guys did. Yeah. Period. Like for life, as long as you own it.
Incentives on top.
There was most of the good ones with the artists came with some kind of incentive. They didn't talk about that. The art was the more popular piece. Like the moment or whatever was the more tangible.
If you're a super fan of an artist, and that's something that you like, you do it. Yeah, right. Like if it's a lifetime,
like buying CDs back in the days.
We monetize fandom.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like if somebody wanted to buy NFT and they get to sit in on the podcast
right now.
You know what I'm saying? Like what is that worth to you? Somebody might say 500. Somebody might say 5,000. Somebody might say 15,000. You don't know what somebody's willing to pay for an experience.
You know what's crazy?
That's the
math. Look, this is
why we don't do live shows.
No, but I know you're talking to too, but it's funny because when Math interviewed La Russell,
that's our guy,
right?
That's our guy.
And Russell's talked about, and this is sort of in the same space where he says when he sells his ticket for shows, it's not a certain price point. It's $5
Whatever you
and
want.
whatever the hell you think.
It's $1.
music is
$1.
worth. $1.
It's
yeah.
free. You can
$1.
come, right?
$1.
It's that's the real proud to pay.
Pay what you
He
want.
really has a proud to pay. Like,
It's interesting.
if you want to support me for $1, you can. If you want to support me for $500, you can.
Exactly.
Right? And so
how much is it worth to you?
Exactly. And so like when we sat down with the campaign, I'm like, this is pretty brilliant. And most people are like, well, aren't most people going to pay $1? Yeah, some are, but then you're going to get a guy like me or Shadi or Matt or anybody in this room and say, you know what? I like this kid. He's brilliant. I'm going to pay $500 for that
That's
show.
a fact.
Right? And now you take the average of that, you take the 500 plus the 20 people, the average ticket might be $77, but he's getting paid the entire 77.
Exactly. He ain't
How
got
do
to
you
break
do
it
that?
off with nobody.
He's not
Unless
paying the
it's team.
venue, right? He's not paying the commissions on the venue. He's not, you know what I'm saying? He's not splitting anything. His average ticket price is
Somewhere
$77.
it's offset somewhere.
Yeah.
It
Not
gotta
for
be
this.
offset
Yeah.
somewhere.
Well, there's probably operating costs. And,
But that's all coming through him.
Yeah,
though.
paying
that's
the
all.
staff.
That he is the op.
he
is the
controls it.
operating
He creates the
cost.
platform that is
But
coming through.
that whole thing, I feel like Ryan Leslie created it first. But
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah,
popular.
Ryan,
Yeah.
no, Ryan Leslie.
Another genius.
Ryan
Ryan
Leslie.
Leslie, genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Genius,
another
yeah.
thing that LaRussell said that was actually super ill was he collects data. Everybody knows you got to collect data, right?
Mhm.
Most people think collect data is email,
Emails.
phone number, but he's collecting like detailed data to know like who his supporters are, what they have, what resources he has. So he's like when he goes out of state or out of the country to do a show, he's getting offered like mansions from his supporters.
Right.
But how many supporters do you have that you don't even know?
Mm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what they will be willing to offer you. They might be offering you a private plane, but you're just not connected enough to even have that
Again,
level of awareness.
That was part of Ryan Leslie's situation. He actually could pinpoint where his fans were, what size venue to book, so that he could throw a show there and then send out a text, mass text to all of them saying, I'm going to be here tonight.
He had that. He taught us a valuable lesson about having less is more. Right? Like, I don't need to sell 1 million albums. If I sell 40,000 at the price points I have, I'm going to make more than a person who sells 1 million. Because they're going to play the labels. You know what I'm saying? They're going to play.
That's Nipsey.
Yeah.
Nipsey touched
Same.
on-
Shout out to
touched
Nipsey.
on
Yeah.
that.
Shout out
Peace
to
in there.
Our
Rest in
good
peace.
brother on this side, Rock Marciano. Rock does that with $1,000 mixtape. You know, a mixtape for whatever amount of money. It's all about that. But that was ultimately, I think that was part of the downfall of the NFT in itself. It became what somebody put, what value you thought it was. A weird monkey face. What's it worth to you? Might be worth something.
Bro, I feel like there was a whole scam, like the monkey faces, like.
But you
no,
know,
no, think.
That's why it's depreciated
I
over
think
time.
somebody, I think
You know what I'm
somebody,
saying? Like,
You
monkey,
didn't
you bought this
appreciate
for how much?
I think somebody managed to take advantage of a hype beast. There's always hype beasts.
It's human
out there.
nature. Like you said, the tulip craze, like it's FOMO, fear of missing out.
Now, right.
Yeah.
So it's like
out.
you don't even know like let's say like you selling this bottle of water, right? To you, this bottle of water is probably worth $1, $2. But now you pay $100 for this bottle of water. Then I go on Instagram and then I make a post and say I just made $1,000 off this bottle of water. Before you know it, somebody's willing to pay $500,000 for this bottle of water because psychologically you're just looking at it completely different now.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like a girl. Like you might not think the girl's attractive, but the drug dealer, that's his girlfriend. It raises her value.
Absolutely.
Then the ball player, and then it's like, you start to question
Yeah.
yourself. Like,
Yeah. No, we see who did it. They was selling air.
And
You ever see?
that was actually a real investment because they needed to breathe. That was in China. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Swedish air. They put it in the.
They
captured
they were
They sold
selling it in
I
China.
remember that
Yeah.
story.
From the out, they
Yeah,
were
but
selling
in
from the out-
Vegas, you go to Vegas, you can get air.
Yeah, no,
Flavored
they
air.
actually needed
Flavored
air.
out
Flavored
there.
air, yeah.
Because it was
Yeah, I saw
polluted.
that.
The air in China is polluted. But they were selling air for like $20 a bottle.
I mean, what's it worth? What's it worth to you?
How you manage it, right?
Yo, bro, that's what it all comes
How you know
down
you got
to.
it?
What's
I'm
it worth to
grateful.
you? What's it worth to you? What
Yeah.
are you willing to? What's it worth to you?
Or what's it worth to others?
Well, I mean,
Because that what is worth to others is going to
That's the
determine what's
most-
worth
yeah,
to you.
that's
Yeah, supply and demand.
No.
Most of the
Supply and
NFT,
demand.
that's what it was.
Right, but there's a reason why some of us didn't buy in it. Like that's why I said hype beast. If you're a hype beast, that makes perfect sense. That's what you do. You go for the hype. I understand that completely. But if you're not a hype beast, if you just march,
But most human nature, most people are.
No.
That's just human nature, right?
That-
If I see an advertisement on Instagram, my timeline, 10 times in one day, and it's saying the same shit. It's saying, I bought this bottle of water for $1 from this warehouse, and I'm selling it for $20 on Amazon.
That's exactly what you have
I'm
to
gonna
do.
be like, word?
Yep.
Oh shit!
Once
Let me
somebody
create
said
an
they made-
Amazon
they-
account. Let me start
It's gonna be
selling water.
It's that picture of him selling the bottles gonna
Yeah.
turn into his profile. Then it's his profile,
Right.
then it's Khaled's profile.
And then they're gonna show the receipt. They're gonna look. I made
I did it.
$800 off this bottle of water. Then you gonna look
In
like
less than 2 hours.
You're the only idiot that's not making money. You
Right.
gotta do it.
Right.
No, by the
But-
time
but-
you jump in, it's too
It's
late.
over.
Well,
Right.
that's what happens.
But knowing global statistics, that's a important thing. Like you could have something that's in excess over here, but it's needed someplace else, but it's cheap here. You dig what I'm saying?
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
But I'm talking about the power of marketing, man. Like, marketing messaging is like the nucleus of business.
Yeah.
It's the fucking
Most important
DNA of
thing.
that shit, bro. Because the more you see it, the more you believe it, and the more you're gonna buy into it.
And again, you got to see it on multiple platforms as well. It
Right.
has to hit you from different angles. If it don't hit you from
yeah.
an angle. Only it's one angle, you still don't believe it yet.
Shit
Right.
Think about what it took for FUBU to blow up. Think about who you saw it on before you was like,
Absolutely.
yo, he got that? Oh shit, that shit. I
Absolutely.
mean, it was.
Well,
it was
it's a different time too because now this is different.
I mean, but that's part of
That's
my
social
point.
media shit is
You did
different.
it. You did it without social media. We were on the block and we saw FUBU.
I was out running around begging.
What did you start with? What did you guys start with?
I had
Hat and a t-shirt and another t-shirt. And
But
walking-
collectively, was somebody like, oh, we got this bread. Like, how much?
We
Bro, it's
invest
my
in
bread at five. What Dame started the hat with.
he wasn't here for this part.
Oh, so Dame started the hat, right? He told me some number. That shit was whatever, nigga.
Right.
Still remember it.
Still arguing, right? You ain't even right.
He ain't even here. You beefing.
Whatever.
So I give him 5. So we basically started with like 5, 6, whatever.
5,000.
Like 5,000.
Thousand,
About
yeah.
5,000.
Yeah.
And when did it start to become influential? Was it when you started putting it on artists? Or did
Yeah,
it start like
because-
in the hood and then
No.
Went
I
out
think
from
It
there?
was definitely artists. It was definitely artists because we would go to every set and just stand there and be like, "Yo, could you please wear it? Could you please wear it? Could you please wear it?"
And after a minute,
it's guerrilla
had to
marketing?
have it.
Yeah.
I had to have. I remember.
But I think the key was not necessarily just that. It was pre-marketing, like letting people see it, but they can't get it. Let people
The
see it, but
exclusivity
you
of
can't
it.
get it. Let
Right.
people see it, but you can't get it. And then finally now you can get it. We open it up everywhere.
Boom.
What started the decline? When did you see? Because you said yourself, nothing stays on top forever.
Yeah.
When did you start to see
The
the
decline was, for me, I mean, my other partners will probably give you some other answer, but I'm going to give you my answer. My answer to decline was the fact that I tried to always keep it
Premium.
premium,
Mm-hmm.
at least somewhat premium, and then you could still get some pieces, you know, moderate or even whatever, right? But we saw so much money in
Discounted.
discounters, you know, TJ Maxx, things like that, to the point that they were giving us so much orders that they were like, we like, shit,
Let's go this
this
way.
money's good. And we started designing for them. And then the bottom dropped, the market dropped, all that. And then all of a sudden, so now I can't make what I want to make anymore. I can't make it with the bells and whistles. I got to knock it down, strip it. Now everything became discount. You know what I'm saying? So after a while, like my mama got it, my dog got it, my you know, the neighbor got it, the lawn dude got it, everybody got it. Now it's like,
And perception became
and
reality.
then as the kid got older, right? He doesn't want to wear what his mama wore or his daddy wore. He want to do his own thing. So that was a whole cycle. I mean, and that was honestly, I can't front. That shit hurt.
But like, let me ask you.
That shit hurt.
'Cause
Man. I worked all these years building. I had no kids. Still don't have no kids. No girl, nothing running around, a girl here and there. But like, I didn't get married. I didn't do none of that shit because I'm so devoted to my business. And for you, my life is devoted to you. I'm giving everything up for you, for us, by us. And you hitting me with the, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that shit
But
hurt.
isn't that, but do you feel like that's your fault? because y'all seen the amount of money that was coming into the business based off of it being a discounted price?
No. I don't necessarily think it's the fault. I just think it's that, again, it was everybody wanted it. So you had to do it on different levels.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So you met the demand.
I had to meet the demand.
What separated you from Gucci? Everybody wants Gucci.
Well, it was a higher. And so let me
But,
ask you this
but,
question.
but why not go in that direction?
Luxury
Why not-
up?
Yeah.
Say
I
luxury?
just said it. Everybody wanted it.
No, but
Everybody can't
again,
get Gucci.
everybody wants Gucci.
But everybody can't get it.
Exactly my point. So why not go in
they
that
lowered
direction?
their price points.
Because it's for us, by us, and how do you be for us, by us? You can't give.
Right. How many of us can afford the luxury?
Right.
Right.
Or well, not even you can afford it because we afford Gucci, right? But how many of us are willing to support us at a luxury line?
At a luxury level. Zero.
Zero? Really? Zero?
The only one that's
Nowadays, zero.
Who's done it?
Nowadays, zero.
Virgil did it.
Now.
No, but just no. See, I
Virgil
always,
didn't. That's different.
when they bring
And
up a
Christian
Virgil,
Louboutin is black also.
yeah,
Rest in
but
peace, Virgil.
you talking about with Off-White?
Off-White. He's probably the only one in our culture.
Slightly.
Like I said, because Christian Louboutin is black, but nobody even knows that. But Virgil, he was able to do a very high-priced item as a well-known black designer, and people championed it.
Well, but nowadays, when we did the Fat Albert, that shit was very expensive. So we did that as well. So I commend him for that.
The Fat Albert was it expensive?
Was it expensive?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, I remember trying to go. I
Was
tried.
it?
No, I couldn't afford
These
it.
are in the days of iceberg.
The
history.
iceberg,
Yeah, it was damn near the price of Iceberg.
Iceberg had
Coogee.
Snoopy.
Well, let me ask you
They
this.
had Fat Albert.
Mickey Mouse, people was robbing everything for Mickey Mouse.
yeah.
I got
Goofy.
I got beat out of my
Speak on
my
it.
Mickey Mouse iceberg in Rikers Island.
I asked Dapper Dan this question, and I said, why is it that black brands always have time limits on it? Like it'd be like Karl Kanai's hot for 5 years, or FUBU's hot for 10 years, or
Sean Jones, same thing.
Ralph Lauren is forever. You know what I'm saying?
It's a staple.
Like
I
it's a
think-
staple. Like you know what I'm saying? Like even Nautica. Nautica's not the most popular brand, or Tommy Hilfiger's not the most popular brand right now, but it's still here. Like,
Right.
these
We
are
just
20,
saw this.
My
30
guess would be it's because it's marketed through either artists whose careers fade or trends of the time
Definitely a part of it.
that pass on.
Because if you're a rapper, if you're a rapper, I always tell these rappers, they come in talking about I want to do a line. You're hot. When you're hot, yeah, you can sell anything. You can sell water to Eskimo, whatever the hell that shit that slogan was.
Ice to an
Ice to-
Eskimo.
No, fucking water. Fucking
Water to Sure, you know what? Fine. I see why Damon's always. I'm on
Dumb
Damon's
shit.
side.
No, I'm saying, no, but I said it to say it dumb because it's just dumb how we do it each other. You know what I'm saying? When you hot, they on you, and then when you're not hot, they don't care anymore, and that's fucked up.
But that's
But
with
it's
us.
not just that.
That's not with
it's
all these
just
other brands.
us.
That's
Stop
a
saying
staple.
that shit. I
It's so
saw
fucked
I
up.
saw a
Look
dude
at all
on
the other
television
brands.
selling a holy cloth, bro. And if you wipe your face with it, you wipe your sins away. Like it's anybody who buys into the hype of anything. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like-
why can't we have a legacy fashion
brand.
brand?
I keep going
That's
back
it.
to
The
Gucci.
question.
Right. I keep
But we
saying
have
the same
legacy
thing.
Let's
Yeah.
start one.
No, I'm saying, yeah, we can, but I'm just saying it hasn't, to this point, all of the brands have had short runs compared to the white brands that have had.
Well,
was
when
it-
you think about it, about 50 years ago, we didn't have no brands, right?
So was it the mission statement that kept you from being the Gucci of that time? Because you wanted to keep it for us, by us? Is that what deaded it out?
I don't think Gucci's a good comparison.
I'm only saying it because everybody knows it and everybody still buys it, and they don't have dips and recessions, and they don't go out of style.
But that's another conversation I asked Dapper Dan. Why can't we have any black-owned luxury? Because there's really no black-owned luxury brand.
But why does it have to be luxury?
Well, his
Why-
argument is why not?
Why not though?
Yeah,
why not?
But here's my point.
Why not?
I see the same thing.
Why
Why not?
No, but here's my point. Why can't it just be? It's just a black brand and it's here.
No, I'm saying luxury as far as high-priced.
Because we got
But
those.
why do we always have to look at the high price and thinking that's the value?
Because we wear our wealth.
That's the mindset. The mindset is
Well,
like,
that's part of the problem.
right. Well, the mindset is like, if I have on luxury, I'm wealthy. Right. That's just how we look at things.
Like why have diamonds?
Yeah. Or why are we rapping
Unless it's your birthstone.
Right.
I totally get it.
Yeah, why have diamonds?
Completely. Unless it, okay, all right. You don't want to have a high price. You don't want to have a high price item.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns into this now, where a couple of, like when we first started, you say I'm wearing FUBU, but I'm the only person in here wearing FUBU.
I'm with that.
I would totally wear one of these. Is it that we can't? Is it that you don't want to take advantage of the fact that you know your people wear high price items? Would you feel bad if you did that?
Because if I turn around and put it at that price, they'd be like, "Yo, man, why you make it so high? I can't afford it."
So black.
I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't.
Why not?
I think
But that's what I'm asking.
Bro,
Do you hear a back?
I think that we mess up a lot.
You know what I'm saying?
Trying to mix culture and morality with business.
Oh God, that's 100% true. Mm-hmm. But are you fearing a backlash? Do you think because FUBU is such a public face, right? We had this discussion before. We were talking about Diddy. Mm-hmm. Diddy doesn't do anything different than a lot of other executives do in that business. But because you know him, because you know his face, you're able to villainize him.
But we only villainize him because artists have villainized him. But then they recant their statements later on, like you just want it out.
That's because, but hold, no, stop. But that's because he became the brand. He became synonymous with Bad Boy.
But Jay-Z synonymous with Rockefeller.
Yeah, right. People come at him too, but
not the same way that they come at Diddy.
But Alan Grunblatt is known for, it has a ill reputation as far as E1 is concerned, and people don't come at him the same way, and that's what I'm trying to get to.
But I think I'd be interested in your opinion on this. For fashion or anything, where you start at is very important. It's extremely difficult to start medium priced and then go up.
Right.
You
got to trickle down.
Yeah. It's easier to start high and go low. Yes. So that's why I like when Balenciaga does the collaboration with Adidas, it sells out because they're looking at it like they're getting a discount on Balenciaga. Or like when H&M used to do it, they used to do it with Vera Wang.
Or they used to go with Target.
Mm-hmm. So now it's like, I can get this shirt that's usually $500 for $100. Even though the shirt probably should only cost $20, they're looking at it like they're getting a discount. As opposed to having something that starts at $50 and then trying to go to Saks Fifth. Like,
is that
I saw a blank t-shirt in the mirror the other day and I laughed.
How much was it?
It was blank.
How much was it?
I didn't even look at the price. I knew this shit was retarded. But I was like, but this is blank. There's nothing wrong.
But you know what though?
Before we go too far, I want to hear that answer.
Because I feel like Ralph did that, right? Like Ralph had Ralph Lauren, right? But then he acceded to Purple Label.
But he started a new brand with Purple Label.
I'm saying he went up with it.
Rebranded
it.
Again, you have to start. You have to be high end and you go down. You can't trickle. You can't go up. You can't start at $299 and go up. It's never going to work.
So another brand, maybe?
You could do a diffusion brand, but it will not be your brand. It'll be some other shit that you know what I'm saying? So like we have like Coogee %. Coogee's price point is way higher than FUBU's price point. It's a whole different thing.
Right.
You know, we've had little booties line. Like we've had a lot of people. Shit, we've had Puffy came to us wanting to asking us, hey, he wants to do a line. We could have probably did a deal with him, but I guess it just didn't work out. Mm-hmm. I'm glad it didn't work out because I'm glad that what he went up and did because we need more people in that business. We need more people.
More in the space.
The price point thing is 110% correct, and that goes along all forms of business.
That's a fact.
Not just clothing or whatever, because even in the publication business, we charge a high price point. And we have more consumers buying the high price point magazine than there's other brands that sell at lower price points, but they don't have as much volume as we have in sales.
So make sure your stuff isn't trash if you try that.
Yeah, don't do that because I'm gonna shoot you down. But that's the key of it. When we first started the publication business behind the wall, I was telling my partner like, yo, bro, why don't we just charge like $14.99 a magazine? He was like, no, fuck that. You're charging $22.88 plus $5 shipping and handling.
But is that perceived value?
Huh?
Is that perceived value?
What does that mean?
Yeah, I think definitely.
Perceived value meaning so for instance, say I make this, right? I make this. I look at it and I say, how much do I think I can get for that? I already know my cost.
Mm.
So I know what I got to get for it. I know what my market was going to be already, but I may even make it higher than that because I know perceived value that.
Oh, absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. We had to train the consumer.
Yeah.
Because the consumer, the consumer has a certain amount of money they make
Right.
in the institution they're in. So we already understood that, but we also understood that when there's something you don't have access to, information, you're willing to pay a higher price point based off the information that you're given.
Again, what's
Right.
it worth
Filling
to
a
you?
void in the market.
Right back.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just
or just being able to
it's blowing
stunt on your stunt on your bunkie with a more expensive magazine.
yeah, that looks way better. I got
You know what I mean? Like,
Still on your bunkie.
you got that $10 shit over there.
Word.
What's
And
the
I'm like,
difference
yo.
between a 4.0 and a 4.6?
I never-
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
1498, guys.
Beat it.
And that's why I agree with what you're saying. Like, I feel like if y'all brothers was to say, okay, there's a void in the market in fashion somewhere. We're OGs in this game now. We understand the market. We understand how it evolved, yada, yada, yada. If we came out with a premium line, maybe if you called it something different, it doesn't matter, right? And you said, this is the price points and we sticking to it. We know all the artists already. We're connected with these people, with that person. Put this on. Yo, put this on.
If I was that simple.
Yeah. It's just, you got to think, like I said, the only black person that's ever been able to do it is Virgil. It's the
Virgil
only,
had a
That's
Virgil
what I'm
had a
saying. I
heads
don't-
up. Like he had a leg up.
but he had tremendous legs. Like, but I'm just saying,
Yeah, this is
still,
what I'm
I don't
about.
agree with this,
You
man.
don't agree with what?
Wait,
Sorry.
you
It
agree
can
what?
be done.
I don't agree
can-
with that,
it
man.
Oh, it can be done. but
Because,
it's
bro,
just
like,
difficult.
No, nobody's saying it
Right.
can't be done.
It's just difficult though.
They're just
Yeah,
saying it's,
but fuck
It's
it.
worth doing.
We got to get it done. You know what I'm saying?
now that's the bottom line for me, that it's worth doing. That's why I keep coming back to it. I believe it's worth
But
doing.
the worth doing is an interesting phrase to use because it's like, okay, worth doing, just saying it's worth doing until you actually have to put the resources and put your money
That shit's
out and
stressful.
marketing.
Because again,
Right.
it's
That's right.
it's the shiny object. How the shit got shiny? How do you make a high-end piece?
Yeah.
What? And how many are you going to sell?
Yeah.
It just may not make any goddamn sense.
The
When you
only
gotta sell
reason
it-
I'm saying that is because you have the experience. You're not like somebody that just walked in and you're like, you was just born yesterday. You are OG in this.
No,
like,
I could
you made
make-
millions
I
of
could
dollars
make
off of
things
this already.
expensive. Again, we have suits.
Right.
Nice. Really nice. We make them the same factories that everybody else makes them at.
Right.
You know, all the high-end stuff. Same factories. But we don't sell them for that price.
Mm.
You know, we sell them where at least it's you know.
And that's-
Affordable.
Get it.
that sounds like a moral decision.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
As
If I
opposed to a
want
business
to give you a political answer, yes. But part of it is I can't get any more for it because they don't see me like that anymore.
Yeah, I just thought of this now because like I came up in a time where brick and mortar was super important.
Right. There's no brick and mortar. Where
Right,
you gonna
so-
sell it at?
Yeah, so like
Right,
is
right.
You gonna sell it online?
that's what I'm asking.
How you gonna buy a $2,000, $4,000, $5,000 suit online?
Well, what if you came up with a way where you have a tailor person come to the person's crib?
Right.
The
Okay,
whole
how much
thing,
does that
the whole
cost?
thing.
Yeah,
I
no,
know.
yeah.
Listen.
That's
I know
time
it
and
costs
about
bread
price
and
point.
all of that. But my thing is that everything in life right now, since I've been home, is about convenience. That's all people care about. How quick can they get it and how efficient it is.
Okay.
And can
Do
I
you
stun
know-
on other people with it?
Exactly.
Okay.
How scalable is that though, right? 'Cause
But how
if he has-
scalable is that?
If he has 1,000 customers, you got 1,000 tailors?
But then too, when
No,
you but
it's
when you,
about how you
have you
organize
ever-
it, how you
have-
structure
have you
it.
ever- have
Listen,
you-
this
Nah,
day,
that's
this
different.
have you
person.
ever
Wait,
have you ever purchased?
If you put them on a waiting list,
That's what I'm saying.
Have you ever
Because it's
purchased-
so exclusive.
have
Like,
you
damn, I
ever
gotta wait
purchased-
2 months to get my shit
Quick
tailored.
question: have you ever purchased a custom suit?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
Since
so
I've
you
been
know
home.
how when you get it on, they put the muslin, do all that little stuff, and then what if the shit don't work? It don't. It don't.
I
fit
haven't.
right.
I haven't experienced that. It didn't. Work.
It happens.
Right.
It happens all the time.
Mhm.
So now that person, the customer's always right. I got to go back. Now
it.
it costs me double now.
Right.
It costs me double. It's just not feasible.
I got you. I understand.
we missed one point that I kind of wanted to get back to because we were going over what it takes to unify. We were talking about how some of these things don't work. Some of the people you put in place don't work. How you guys managed to squash conflicts between you and Damon. How you managed to, what's the word I'm looking for? You're looking for the person who you're filtering the people that you hire. bad hire, good hire, et cetera, et cetera. How you guys manage to keep your circle small so you don't have to deal with that as much. But you brought up something when he was talking about arguing with David. Chain of command, respect, reverence, or making an executive decision. We don't have a lot of people who are suited to do those kind of things. Math talks all the time about having a rebellious streak and how we go against the grain and how it's our nature to go against the grain.
Yeah.
Most people who are going to be entrepreneurs,
People don't want to admit it, man. They just like the handicap, bro. They just like the handicap, man.
that's a wheelchair.
This is the handicap. Whenever somebody starts talking about, oh, you know, we never get it together, just
Excuses.
Come
Oh, no,
on,
I'm
man.
not sure if that's a handicap versus just reality. I'm just going off the examples that they
It's
gave.
it's not reality. It's
So
just a matter of time, bro.
What's your question?
The question is, how do we get past that?
Past what?
How do we get past that mentality?
What mentality?
The mentality of get it quick and don't do the work that it takes to get there. To not shine the shiny object.
Well, I think
That it should just come like that.
I think
Matthew, dirty-minded mug.
it's
Bro, you done had like 16 pauses since you started talking. I'm just leaving you alone. Like, you in the chair, I'm like, making the chair. I'm
Just when I think we being mature.
I'm gonna respect it, bro.
Go ahead, bro.
It's about, once again, it goes back to leadership, right? It goes back to leadership, and most people follow. Most people need some level of leadership.
Right.
Very few people can just figure it out on their own. Even leaders need to follow leaders on a certain level. So it's like, as a leader, it's your responsibility and your job to do as you say, to show them this is what it is. This every single day. This is what it takes. This is what it takes. This is what it takes. And then that becomes part of the work culture. You know, you always hear these companies talking about culture, the culture of Apple, the culture of Microsoft. That's work culture.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's something that you have to learn discipline. Like, I learned it from playing basketball. Like, I play basketball pretty much every single day from 12 to 22. So every day I'm doing the same thing every single day, working out, going to teams, traveling, AAU, going to college. Like, you realize that nothing happens overnight. That's discipline. That's hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So now it's easy to transition that to business or to anything else because you already have that level of discipline and work ethic. If you don't have that already, you have to learn that.
You have to develop it.
You have to develop it. But like, you develop it from being in a group with like-minded people that's all doing the same thing, that's all on the same accord, and that's, they're looking for leadership from the person that's doing the same thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then that becomes like, okay, this is what we're doing, right? It's like the military. When you go in the military, everybody's on board, all the soldiers, you waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning because, the general and the drill sergeant, and it's a chain of command. They're giving orders, but you following the orders that they're giving you because they're implementing what they've actually, and you know that the tradition has already been set. This is the precedent. Don't go against this. If you do go against this, you're going to be kicked out. That's the kind of, same level of camaraderie that has to be done. So anybody that's has an issue with that, you got to look at the top first. Look at the top ranks. It's true with anything. It could be in the streets, like, you know what I'm saying, as far as criminal organization, gangs, whatever. Like, if the top leadership is faulty, everything's going to fall apart. If the top leadership is on point, look at the Black Panthers. They was organized. They was disciplined. That's because the leadership, when the leadership started to have issues, everything fell apart.
We got bloods.
I think one word you missed in that whole thing, and I really appreciate what you just said, but I think when one word is missed, it's called respect. And I think we, again, we're having conversation, we're having dialogue, we're not having discourse. Because you don't have discourse. You have discourse when you don't respect each other. And we all come from all walks of life. We all who we are. And when you walk in the room, I'm like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Right. It doesn't matter that I've done what I've done. It don't matter if you've done what you've done, but we respect each other. Right. So then we can just always talk back and forth, and there's no problem. And I think that's the part that is always missed in us.
You understand, Yayo? You understand?
I'm gonna show a little bit of respect.
Shout out to Yayo, man.
Shout
I
out
love
to
that guy.
MSG, Madison Square Gardens. Get that out the way. Shout out to y'all.
No, you guys got the
Yeah,
show?
Sunday. Yeah. We we talk a lot about investing. We talk, we have a show called Market Mondays where a lot of people have turned to us when you talk about leadership and you talk about leading by example when they want to get education about investing. So we've took the show on the road. We did the Apollo last Thanksgiving, sold that out. We went to Houston, the Lobby Center, we sold that out.
Nice.
And so we came back home one more time to do MSG. So we're gonna be doing MSG at the Hulu Theater. Plan to sell that out again. We bring in what we call edutainment. And a lot of times you go, a lot of times you
Shout
go
out to
to
KRS-One.
exactly. Yes, you go to events, man, and you're really bored by what you're seeing. A lot of times you're taking nothing away from it, and you kind of wonder why you even went.
Right.
And so we've kind of flipped the head on that, man. We've done it with a flair. We've done it with swag. We've done it with fashion. We've done it with a sense of like pride for our community, right? Somebody's finally talking to us. Somebody's finally representing us in a way that we can understand, that is digestible, that we can take and we can apply. And so people are doing that at a different rate. That's why I said it's a financial revolution, because people are really applying it and it's really changing it and they're really making money. And so we're coming to take over MSG, man. This Sunday, November 27th. It's going to be a night to remember. We got, you want to tell people who we got?
Yeah, who
Tell them who we got.
Who you got?
Don Peebles, billionaire real estate developer who's black.
Nice.
Y'all familiar
Peoples,
with?
yeah.
Don
Don Peoples, that's my guy. Yeah.
People like that, like
See, money knows money.
That took no time at all.
I thought you were talking about Mario Van
Don
Peebles.
Peoples,
Yeah, we got Don Peebles. We got Peter Tuckman. He's a wizard on Wall Street. He's been on Wall Street for like 20 years. They call him Einstein of Wall Street. We have my guy Jadakiss will be performing. We got the champ,
Top
Floyd Money Mayweather. We're gonna have a conversation with him. So it's gonna be a mix of entertainment, education, inspiration, motivation. So definitely pull up if you're in town for sure.
Bars.
Absolutely.
Jay, what's cracking?
Oh man, Force Bias Network, that's all I gotta talk about. Now we might want to have to get you over, but we'll wait for your deal to be ended up.
You said Force Bias Network.
Yeah.
You mean
Streaming service, yeah.
Streaming service.
Yeah.
Oh, dope. Like
You
for
should've
music
said that
and
very lead.
yeah, you gotta talk. Spill it out a little bit more, man.
No, bro.
Interested.
Listen, for the last year and a half, me and my guy, come on, man. My partner.
People ask me for money when they
I got two partners. I got two partners. That's one. That's Rush. And I got another guy that's crazy when it comes to writing scripts. Oh my God, he's crazy. So we just filmed like a year and a half. We was filming. We have 4 series. We got 5 reality shows. We got movies. We got scripted. We got tons of stuff coming out. So starting next month, right?
Yeah.
Next month. So we got a whole slate of stuff coming out. About to take over. It is what it is.
Nice, man. Congratulations.
Bias Network.
By us on the low.
See, I like
we
how
gotta talk.
y'all
Movies
evolved.
is definitely something I want to get back into.
Evolution right there.
If someone gave you guys $50,000
Right now.
Marty Bird.
how much you think you could flip it into after a year?
So language is important, and the word flip.
I knew he was gonna say that.
Right.
Because I was like, oh,
Right.
oh, that's not a good word.
Let's go.
But it goes back to the mindset thing, right? And it's extremely important to understand. This goes back to that, what you said, the hustler and the get rich quick. And when you start to have that thing, that's when you do things that might not necessarily be in the best interest, or you start to buy NFTs that you don't even understand.
Right.
Our thing is to make intelligent investments.
Right.
Those investments might not increase in a year, but in 10 years, in 15 years, in 20 years, it's going to be way more than what you originally put it into, right?
15, you said 15, 20.
I'm just saying, like a long-term perspective. Like,
Right. So basically, you have to be stable and have capital to be a part of that field.
Well, no, I'm just saying, as far as you can trade too, right?
Right.
So there's 2 parts to this question. investing is a long-term game. You put money in. Now you could potentially get money short.
Right.
You know, you could double your money, but you're not looking at it like that. Then you have more short-term plays where it's like you're trading. Right. You're day trading stocks, or you know, day trading crypto. Now that is more complicated because that's something that you're actually dedicating all of your time to.
Right.
Now you can do that, but understand that that's a skill set. And like any other skill set, it takes time to perfect that. It takes years to perfect that. Reason why I'm saying that, I'm not just giving you a fluff answer, but it's important for people to understand this, because you don't want to have false levels of expectations.
Right.
And we don't want to sell you a pipe dream.
Right.
Like, yo, you put 50 in, you're going to have 200,000 next year. I don't want to make that promise. I'd rather tell you something that is realistic, or even under deliver on my promise to you. So that way you'll have a better understanding of what it's going to take. And it's not a get rich quick thing. You don't build wealth overnight, but it is something that you can do over the long term if you're disciplined and you do things on a consistent basis.
All right. So again, if I gave you 50,000, what can we flip it to? You know what I mean? Because you have the knowledge of all this stuff. There's got to be a rate of return that you know, like, listen, we ain't never going down, right? We ain't never going down.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Is there a possibility? I want to know this. Is there a possibility that y'all might go broke one day?
What do you call it?
That's not the possibility that happens is very low. But if we talk about rates of return, when we talk about indexes, right? So if you talk about, let's say, the S&P or NASDAQ, these are indexes that have a bunch of companies in them, right? So the NASDAQ is a bunch of technology companies. S&P has 500 companies that pretty make up a large portion of the market, right? And then you have the Dow Jones. Most people know just the Dow Jones, that's 30 companies. Right. And so if you invest in one of those indexes, chances are, on an average, the return is what, 6%? On average, right?
6%.
Yeah, but if you take an outlier year like this year, you're gonna say like, well, Troy, you told me 6%. Well, NASDAQ is down 30% this year. But yeah, when it was during the pandemic, it was up about 30% back to back. Right? And so you have to start averaging these things out. That's why he's talking about from a long-term perspective. If you're looking at it from 1 year like this one, this is an outlier, right? We're in a recession, or we're headed to one for sure. But we know one thing that happens after a recession is that the market increases over time. And so if you're looking at it from a standpoint, I got 50, this is probably the best time to invest it, because you know, on average, 77% of the time, the market's going to go up. Back, right? Back up. If you look at the 100-year span of the market, 77% of the time it's going to go up. So if I'm looking at a recession right now, I'm like, yeah, bet, I got 50. I mean, invested in companies that I know I'm already a consumer of.
So, and then to answer your question even further, so 6% is kind of, that might be a little outdated. You could probably like do 10% like now over the course of time, because the last 20 years has been better than, you know, the last 50 years. The stock market has been more, you know, aggressively going up. So let's say you own 10%. Now the average person, now to us, you know, 10% is not any money because we never came from money, so we don't understand it. 10% is not exciting to somebody said this, only broke people think that 10% is a bad rate of return. When rich people, they jump through fire for 10%. But it's like, what is your alternative? Your alternative is to put the money in the bank and earn nothing. Or the alternative is to spend the money and now you're actually less than what you had. So when you start to look at it from that standpoint, you realize that, okay, now let's say it's even 7%. Now 7%, that's not something to really, you know, do a backflip about. But 7% for 10 years, now you double your money. So, okay, now you say, okay, now you have a cash flowing business, you start a business. This is why it goes hand in hand, right? You can't just invest because you need money to invest. So entrepreneurship is extremely important. Learning a skill, getting a high paying career is extremely important. So now you have a business, you have money coming in, you live below your means, you have more disposable income, and then you consistently put money into investments. That's a strategy to build wealth long term.
So that's that part, that compounded interest. People hear about that, but they don't, like that you do that 7%, enough consecutive years, that money's, you're gonna be like, wow, this is a great investment. Even if it's 7 compounded over time, 20 years, you're talking about, you've really made money. You see what I'm saying? But we think of it like, 7,
Yeah, it's the law of 72. 7.2% over 10 years, you double your money. Every 10 years, you double your money. And that's just 7.2%. So what if you get 10%?
I'll tell you why the hood don't mess with that. Most people don't know how long they're going to live. Or how long, you know what I mean? And sometimes they need it immediately.
Yeah, you always need it immediately when you don't have money. When you're in survival mode, there's two types of modes you're in life. Survival mode and thrival mode. Most people in our community have never seen thrival mode. They only know survival mode to the point where you don't even realize that you're in survival mode. Survival mode is when you're literally surviving. Day to day. I need this money. I gotta pay this bill. I gotta pay my light bill. They're gonna cut my gas. They're gonna cut, like, you know what I'm saying? I gotta move this money from here. I gotta borrow money from him to pay her. That becomes so normalized, you don't even realize that. The problem with that is that you never have time to actually think. So when you're in thrival mode, life slows down. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like sports. I use a lot of sports analogy because I play sports, but it's like the best basketball players, they say they see the game slow. They play slow. You start to see if you just rushing around, you can't even really function properly. When you slow the game down, but even in boxing, it's like Floyd, like he sees you slow the game down, now you can think, now you can actually move more efficiently. So it's not easy to go from survival mode to thrival mode. It's not, but it's possible. It's possible by putting together a plan and sticking to the plan. This goes back to being disciplined. This everything in life, like how you do one thing is how you do everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is why it's important to, you could tell a lot about a person by just watching them. Somebody eating sloppy and they run around and they just park in their car, however, that's not really somebody I really want to do business with because they don't have discipline in their life. Somebody getting up at 5:30, they doing burpees in the park, they meditating,
discipline.
They eating 3 meals a day. It don't matter how much money they have, that shows character traits of somebody that is going to be successful because they already have that built in them.
Quick question. How many of those things do you do?
All of them.
There it is. I'm
quiet.
One last question.
Well, let me say one point what you just said.
I ain't mad.
When I speak, a lot of places, and I'll speak to kids, and the kids be like, "Yo, I don't think I'm gonna live till tomorrow," right? And I'll hear that shit. They be like, "NOLO, only live once."
YOLO.
YOLO.
Say no, that's a new job.
YOLO. You only live once, right?
Never only live.
And I be like, "Yo, if you only live once, I mean, all right." I'm like, "All right, fine, whatever." So I said, "This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna come back tomorrow. If you still here, don't ever say that shit again." Come back tomorrow.
You ever came back and they wasn't there?
It's crazy.
It's still wild. Last question. What's the difference between a plain Jane and a bust down?
Watch?
Plain Jane.
Plain Jane and a bust down.
From an investment standpoint?
Or just in general?
Just in general.
Just in general.
A plain Jane.
I mean, I know in general, but.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about watches because we look at them as an investment. Like I just showed him, was that yesterday? I got a Daytona Rolex. It was $30,000, right? It is appreciated in a month by 205%. That is over $100,000 for the watch.
Your watches are the shit now.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so we always tell people, like, we never touch the watches, right? If we're gonna buy it with diamonds, if we're gonna get it with diamonds, the factory's gonna have them made with diamonds because we don't want it to depreciate.
Right.
When you touch the watch, right, you devalue it, right? And if you devalue it, now it's not really an asset anymore. Right. We want to keep our things pristine. We want to make sure that over time they can be passed down to our kids. They can be assets that can be, if they have to sell it at some point, they can, right? So if you ever see us with something, just know it came straight from the factory because we're looking at it. Every time we buy something, it's like, all right, how can this be beneficial? How can it be a teaching point too, right? So we see people, and I was watching on IG, and they had Quavo on there, and he's like, "Yo, I don't buy bust downs no more." I'm like, yo, damn, look how far we come. You know what I'm saying?
I saw that.
Wow.
Look how far we've come.
That's influence.
You know what I'm saying?
Because the value increases.
That's the power of information, right? Now
I got another question.
Yeah.
You plan on selling your watch?
Which one?
The Rollie? You plan on selling it one day?
Daytona.
The Daytona?
Yeah.
Nah, my son really likes it.
So you gonna keep it?
I might pass it down to him.
So I'm gonna keep this bust down, baby! Yeah! I said, look good in the club. Nigga. Look good in the club.
but it's all in the eye of the beholder too, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
all in the eye of
man.
the beholder. Like, you know, one person's value is different from another person's value. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but one thing, going back to the discipline part of it, is, you know, when you start to become educated on watches, you know, people take watches real serious. And, you know, I wasn't educated on watches fully until recently. And now that I'm starting to really understand like watches, like as an investment and different things of that nature. And you realize the real value of a watch is not in the gold or the diamonds or even how it looks. The real value in a watch is the movement. And like this is the most complicated watch that Rolex makes, right? Because it's 3 clocks in one. Now the average person just looks at it and just looks at the watch, right? But it's moving at an extremely complicated movement. I say that to say, going back to having your life got to be like a complicated watch. Like it got to be moving extremely efficiently. If one thing is out, your whole thing is going to be out of order.
Yeah, all the
If you got relationship issues, if you got bad diet, like it's going to affect your business.
Facts.
It's going to affect your relationship with your son. It's going to affect, like, just one thing is going to throw off the whole movement of your life. So it's extremely important to try to have all of your things in your life. And it's never going to be perfect, but you got to work on it. Might have to work on your relationship. Might have to work on your diet. Might have to work on working out. Because if not, at some point in time, it's going to affect other parts, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, before you know it, your whole life is going to come crumbling down because of one thing was out of order.
All right, so I got another question. 3 successful black men. Are you with the same women that you were with before you were successful?
Yeah, I've been married 10 years.
10
I was
years.
with my wife.
She's been with you since.
We've been together probably 15 years, married 10. Yeah, I'm part of the 0.01% of men.
Now I'm single, but that's another part of entrepreneurship, right? It's like you gotta tell the good and the bad if it is bad, but it's like when you are so focused on one thing, it's hard to have a certain level of balance.
And just talked about that.
Relationships usually suffer.
Yeah.
They're not going 2 o'clock in the morning. Like every woman is not, every man or whatever your situation, they're not going to understand you coming home at 3 o'clock in the morning after you've been on the road for a week.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, if this is your craft, if this is what you dedicated to doing, this is sacrifices that have to be done, but it's not easy.
Absolutely.
It's not easy.
It was never nobody ever said it was going to be.
I'm telling you, when we left, before we
They
left,
also didn't say it was going to be hard.
yeah, before we left to come here, right?
I'm 52.
But
Think about this.
But you guys are not. You're not celibate, right?
What you about to say, Troy, man? Troy's about to say something.
I'm not celibate.
You guys are not celibate, right? Just for the record.
After a $500
I'm trying to establish something. There's a point to this. There's a point to this. You guys are not abstinent. You're not withholding from sex. You're not it's been 4 years.
Who's you guys?
Actually, sometimes to be super disciplined,
He's married.
I will do that.
He's like, did you not eat?
Sometimes I will do that.
Yeah.
To be super disciplined. If I'm really focused and I start a new business or whatever, I go straight hard. Like, I ain't got no time. Pause.
That's flag on the play.
Flag on the play. No, what I'm saying is this, sometimes you just
like
real
a boxer, like a boxer getting ready.
like a boxer ready for a fight, and you just working.
Right.
Like because a woman can come distract you. Oh, now you on the phone, so she just want to talk. 2 hours, and you can't.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That is a
Facts, right?
Right.
You can't, and then you gotta appreciate her. Okay, I gotta go. They don't want to hear that.
Right.
So sometimes I just be like, that's it. Like, let me just stay focused.
I'll catch you at the
They got to be understanding, right? Like, they have to be
You
understanding.
said
Like I
you
said,
on your way here, though.
like on the way here,
Right.
like we just got off a 14-hour flight. Like, no joke, 14-hour flight. I saw my kids for like 2 hours, and my wife dead sleep. I'm like, I gotta go. She looked at me and said, I don't really think people understand how hard y'all work. And she went back. And she went back to sleep. I said, I'll be back. There's a job to be done.
Right.
We got to do the job.
Right.
Right. That's one of the things. Like, we're gonna lead by demonstration. Like, he know. He been watching it his whole life. We're gonna lead by demonstration. We're not asking anybody to do something we're not gonna do.
We're not willing to do.
And if anybody thinks they're gonna outwork us, good luck.
But then,
But it also breeds that like, yo, these dudes really just got off a flight and they came here and they got an interview in the morning and they got to show us. These dudes are everywhere. If to somebody watching it, it feels like, they are really everywhere.
Right.
And they doing everything.
Right.
Because we know that. But on the other end of it, there's sacrifices and some things, right? Like that's something that, not that we can't have balance, but you got to try to. Like I have to make sure that, there's going to be an hour where I might not pick up my phone.
Well, how do you balance that with your relationship?
We have an understanding. Like she's been with me prior to all of it. You know what I'm saying? She knows that anything that I'm gonna do is gonna be in the best interest of our family. It's that
she trusts that.
She trusts that. Like there's a level of trust, right? I always say like in a relationship, like it goes back into the submission conversation, right? Like my wife is submissive to me because she knows I'm submissive to God. God's leading the relationship, I'm leading the family, and she understands that. So we're a team. You know what I'm saying? In that sense, where it's like anything that's gonna happen, she know that this is gonna be for the best interest of all of us.
Fire.
You know what I'm saying?
So you guys never found those submissive chicks. You never found those.
Nah, I mean, you
in a positive way.
You come across. It's not all women's fault either. You come across some good women, but then you're not in a situation where you can give them. You're doing them a disservice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You might see them once a month. You talking to them once every week. You don't have that same level of. You can't provide that same level of attention.
Right.
Or you can provide for them financially, but finances isn't everything.
You can't tend to the relationship.
You can't tend to it. You can't water the garden. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't water the garden. Eventually the flowers are going to die. Yeah. So it's like, you have to see what's more important. Yeah. Right. And if your career is a primary focus, then that's going to be kind of difficult.
Here comes the discipline.
Right. But you're not abstinent. Just for the record.
That's crazy. For the record. That's crazy.
For the record. So somebody putting up with it, you heard? Somebody understands. I'm just saying. Somebody understands. No, because I know I've met a lot of successful black men, and a lot of them are single. And I'm like, there's a pattern here. There's a pattern here.
So I'm here to represent.
What's your thoughts on that?
I think
are you
again, no, I'm not. Okay. But I said, nigga, I'm like 2 seconds. He said she's gonna see this shit and flip. But anyway, but I get the difficulty of people just not understanding how important business can be and how important it is for, especially being a black man. Like you find a way to achieve success, you hold on to that, you cultivate it, you go hard. Not everybody understands that. That takes time, that takes focus, that takes like energy that I can't allow anyone else to take away.
And,
you know what I'm saying?
And it's fun too. Like I'm sure you guys are having fun. We having fun. So it's like, we just came off a flight and we had to 2. And I don't really look at it like it's a sacrifice. I don't even look at it like it's hard work because it's like, what's the alternative? I know what real hard work is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like having to dig a grave. That's hard work. Like we're blessed at the end of the day.
Yeah,
we get to make a living from speaking. Most people work from the neck down, manual labor. We work from the neck up. We get to use our intelligence, our brains, and our mouth. That's a blessing.
That's a fact.
We get to wake up and anytime that we want, go to sleep, not having to, check in, check out, ask for. So I look at that as a blessing. So I never really look at it as hard work because I know what's the alternative. And it's like the alternative to me is worse than what is currently happening. So it's like, from that standpoint, I look at it like, it's a tremendous blessing, but everybody, has to just be on the same page, understanding that. And I feel like from a relationship, women, it's difficult because women will put up with a lot, especially when somebody has some level of financial freedom and they can provide for them. That's one thing I learned. Like, you'll be surprised how much women will actually put up with. Almost anything, right? But then it's like, is that really the most beneficial way to go about it? Probably not. Probably not. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's like now you start to kind of battle yourself. Like, damn, I could do this, but I don't even feel good about doing it.
I'm taking advantage. Taking advantage.
You need to be with a lawyer, a doctor, something like that, bro.
Yo, they got their ways too, bro. You gotta watch out for that.
I'm with you, bro. Okay, we're about to get up into a whole different.
There's guys out there that's better than me.
Earn Your Leisure, J. Alexander. Thank you, guys. By the time y'all see this, the event is gonna be sold out. So, you know, just wait for the next one. Cop your tickets early.
It's hot for trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard.